Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gyandan. Today is the 15th day. Words for human faults. Have you ever met the gay young bachelor type whose life seems to be on one peccadillo after another? Does such a one have to be a man of some wealth? Or can he follow his manner of life in midst of penury? Do his success with the opposite sex tend to give him a touch of megalomania? His life is certainly an interesting one. That is, if you consider that one imbroglio after another makes for interest. Just listen to him talk. His braggadocio may entertain his younger acquaintance, but it certainly becomes tiresome to his older friends. Now let us pronounce each word carefully. Peccadillo. Peck-a-dil-o. Peccadillo. Penury. Pen-u-re. Penury. Megalomania. Meg-a-lo-me-ni-a. Megalomania. Imbroglio. Imbroglio. G is silent here. Braggadocio. Braggadocio. From an analysis of the paragraph above, can you fit these 5 words into the following definitions? Pause the video and look back to the paragraph. A complicated and embarrassing situation, a slight sin, empty boasting, abject poverty, grandiose delusions of one's own importance. A complicated and embarrassing situation is imbroglio, a slight sin, peccadillo, empty boasting, braggadocio, abject poverty, penury, grandiose delusions of one's own importance, megalomania. Now for another group, what kind of person are you? Do you think money is a panacea? Do you feel your life has been a fiasco? What are some of idiosyncrasies? Do you tend to rationalize rather than face the truth? Are there anomalies in your life that you would like to see removed? The answer to these questions can often reveal a number of interesting things about a person's character. Let us pronounce them. Panacea. Pan-a-c-a. Panacea. Fiasco. Fiasco. Idiosyncrasies. Syncrasy. Idiosyncrasy. Rationalize. Rationalize. Anomaly. Anomaly. Now fit these words into these sentences that suggest their meaning. Refer back to the paragraph and try doing context clues for the word meanings of these 5 words. Pause the video and answer these questions. Something that is irregular or inconsistent is an anomaly. A cure for all evils is a panacea. Miserable and ridiculous failure, fiasco. To reason out and invent a worthy motive for a discreditable act, rationalize. A characteristic peculiarity, idiosyncrasy. Do you by chance have a neurotic friend who is so lazy that he tends to malinger? Or one who belongs to the elite and looks down a social nose at the parvenus? The conversation of such a person is apt to be banal, certainly not as interesting as that of the intelligentsia. Or have you ever been up against a politician who resorts to jingoism or chicanery because he cannot gain his end by honest means? Now let us read these 7 words aloud. Malinger. Ma-ling-ger. Malinger. Elite. 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 It's elite. Parvenu. Par-ve-new. Parvenu. Jingoism. Jing-go-ism. Jingoism. Intelligentsia. In-tel-e-gent-si-a. Chicanery. She-ke-ner-e. Banal. Banal. Now pair off the above words with their definitions that follow. Pause the video and refer back to the paragraph and answer these questions. The choicest part of society, a flower or an army. Elite. One who has suddenly attained wealth beyond his birth or worth, usually used derogatively. Parvenu. To feign sickness, to shirk work or duty. Malinger. Favoring demonstrative foreign policy. Jingoism. The intelligent and educated classes. Intelligentsia. Mean petty trickery. Chicanery. Commonplace, trivial. Banal. Now is a good time to read these words aloud, and so make sure that you can pronounce them. Otherwise, you will never use them in conversation. So let us pronounce together. Number 1. Peccadillo. Peck-a-dill-o. Peccadillo. Number 2. Penury. Number 3. Megalomania. 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 Imbroglio. Braggadocio. Panacea. Fiasco. Idiosyncrasy. Rationalize. Anomaly. Elite. Jingoism. Intelligentsia. Malinger. Chicanery. Banal. Parvenu. Do you remember what these words mean? Try to fill in the proper word after each of the following synonymous phrases. Pause the video and try answering these questions. Let us now start with the answers. Extreme poverty or want. Penury. The best socially or intellectually. Elite. A complete or humiliating failure. Fiasco. Trickery, chicanery. To feign illness in order to escape work. Malinger. To interrupt in a reasonable manner. Rationalize. To deviate from type, an irregularity. Anomaly. A pretended remedy for all diseases. Panacea. Favoring a demonstrative foreign policy. Jingoistic. Educated and intellectual people. Intelligentsia. Ordinary, dull, banal. Delusions of grandeur. Megalomania. Pretentious boasting. Braggadocio. A slight or trifling sin. Peccadillo. Try associating people you know with these characteristics. This will help you remember the words better. Number 15. A troublesome complication of affairs. Imbroglio. a characteristic peculiarity, idiosyncrasy, a mushroom aristocrat, parvenu. Which word does each of the following phrases bring into mind? Again, pause the video and complete this exercise. Do not look at the answers. Let's now discuss the answers. Down with the foreigners. Jingoism. It was alright to steal because my family was starving. Rationalization. The Great South Sea Bubble. Fiasco. We all want peace and get war. Anomaly. The people in Who's Who. Elite. A boy pretends he's sick to get out of school. Malinga. Have done a lot of time. The economic condition of the population of the slums. Penury. I call what he did only a mild indiscretion. Peccadillo. Misleading advertising. Chicanery. Europe has been in one for years. Number 10 is imbroglio. 11, Hitler, megalomaniac. Number 12, he has a slight hesitation in his speech. Idiosyncrasy. He is dull and uninteresting in his conversation. Banal. Let us do some literary review and see how other people have used some of these words. Number 1. As Professor Owen has remarked, there is no greater anomaly in nature than a bird that cannot fly. Darwin. Number 2. Owing to the disunion of the Fenians themselves, the rigor of the administration, and the triarchy of informers, the Irish rebellion was a fiasco. Encyclopedia Britannica. Idiosyncrasies are, however, frequent. Thus, we find that one person has an exceptional memory for sounds, another for colors, and another for forms. Again, Encyclopedia Britannica. The chemists pretend it was the philosopher's stone, the physicians that it was an infallible panacea. T. Wharton. The Quran attaches much importance to a prayer. The Quran attaches much importance to a prayer, a fact which is somewhat anomalous in a system of religion so essentially fatalistic. Spencer. Men who by legal chicanery cheat others out of their property. Herbert Spencer. Who doesn't forgive? The virtuous Miss Grundy. She remembers her neighbors' peccadillos to the third and fourth generations. Thackeray. I have always observed through life that your parvenu is who stickles for what he calls the genteel and has most squeamish abhorrence of what is frank and natural. Thackeray. This low ebb with his accusers when such peccadillos as these are put in to swell the charge. Bishop of Atterbury. That's a lot of references. Moving on, you will find it a good practice if you will start looking for these words in your daily reading. You may be surprised how often they will occur, not because they're so popular, but principally for the reason that your mind is now set to recognize them. You're now halfway through this book. How is your work going? Do you feel you're making progress? Here are a few suggestions that may increase your speed. Try laying out a simple, definite, but not over-ambitious plan for your daily study, if you haven't already done so. Fix a date when you think you can reasonably finish the volume, and be sure to schedule a daily delivery of achievement. It will be wise not to make your plan over hard, as you may then fall behind, and this is always discouraging. If you can choose a fixed time each day for this study, that will be helpful. But if that should be impractical, then learn the fine art of using your spare moments. John Erskine, the famous author, trained himself to use all those minutes of the day that other people waste. And during these periods of salvaged time, he wrote the most of his novels. Above all, make this present study a habit, like getting dressed or undressed, combing your hair or brushing your teeth, and it will soon become so much a part of your life that you will feel guilty if you skip a single time. And this, you just have to listen. While brushing your teeth or combing your hair, you can just put on this and listen carefully. And here is a rule that busy men have found invaluable. Always plan your next day's work the night before. That was the end of 15th day. To be continued. Thank you for watching the video. Like, share, subscribe.